A crude, oval hole revealed an incision in her flesh that had been neatly sliced and sewn back together. But something lay in the wound beneath her skin, something dark that didn't belong, something moving.
Strong words from the opening page of the short story Dead Boots by Sarah Scanlan.
One that she's allowed us to adapt into a new short film.
I'm Sarah Jimenez, the producer with Chelsea Bardon.
And I'm Daniel Webb, the writer and director, and we'd like to introduce you to The Rite of Rosemary, a new short psychological thriller about family, lies and love.
There is a manhunt in the town of Gant. A woman lies dead in Harrow Woods, and a dangerous man is on the loose.
Jack hasn't seen his eccentric father in over 25 years, but when he is forced to return to the quaint little town that he is from, the two are reunited, and the secrets that both have held on to for so long finally come to light.
I got the script and I've never done a horror film. And I don't really think I like horror films. I can't remember actually watching a whole one. So when I read it, I felt, pretty neutral about it. And then you realise that actually this is an extraordinarily rich, nuanced little story, and it avoids all the cliches.
I just think it's such a brilliantly written story, such a great written screenplay from beginning to end, and there's so much darkness about it, and I in myself I have such a passion for stories that tell about emotional relationships between parents and sons and daughters, but also to do with any kind of religious bigotry, no matter what the situation happens to be.
This film, I think, in particular, because it's actually trying to avoid a cliche and break a mould and do something slightly different with a bit of a hackneyed old, rather sort of camp genre, give it a kind of depth and a psychology and a third dimension, and you could never sell this to the big Hollywood movie makers. It's too experimental, it's dangerous, it's interesting, and in the wrong kind of way for those kind of people who are just trying to make profits. So you have to find someone who loves films and who loves the process or who loves the industry.
I love the script from the beginning. When I first read it, I saw a lot of potential on it. I like the characters in the story, and I like how the story takes an unexpected turn.
When I first walked in, I just saw this lovely looking old guy.
Interestingly enough, in the way we play it, Guy is much taller than I am, which is a challenge to be, as it were, a more powerful figure.
I think everybody does when you first look at Bill. He looks like a lovely old kind guy, which Bill is. Thomas, on the other hand, is the exact opposite.
But when we did the casting, it just seemed to kind of work, and I think I found its Achilles heel.
And when we started reading lines, that sudden switch that came over Bill, it took me by surprise, especially when he started, making the odd line up on the spot as well. And I was sitting there thinking, geez, all right, okay, this is actually starting to make me sweat a little bit,
We did an improv, and I think that's really when the magic happened. And that's probably one of the more exciting aspects of the film, is to work with Guy and see how we develop that.
When I first read Sarah's short story, I was really impressed by how foreboding and atmospheric the tone was. Taking place over just one evening, it provides a voyeuristic look into a reunion between father and son that neither of them wanted.
His relationship with life and death is different to mine, a different morality. And I would say, quite happily, hand on heart, they're wrong. You don't kill people, even if you think it's for their own good. But that's my morality and my philosophy. So you do a film about a man who has a philosophy which is so far removed from my own, and I believe in tolerance and religious tolerance and all the rest of it. And this man does it all in the name of God. That's worth putting on celluloid and getting people to watch. That's a very interesting debate, and that's a very interesting argument about life and death and right and wrong, and their universal arguments that have gone on for centuries and what many great films are about. This is encapsulated in a 15-minute very intense, very dramatic, quite extreme piece of film, and we leave people at the end faced with a kind of dilemma about right and wrong. He did the wrong thing for the right reasons. Wouldn't we all do that?
It's a very gritty, dark screenplay with a lot of realism, and I think that there's a lot in this that people can relate to very heavily. You know, whether you've ever been in a situation where you've dealt with any kind of religious extremism, or whether you've ever dealt in a situation where you've had some kind of a relationship between your parents or with anybody that's made you feel in any way insecure, and I think everybody has. This story says it from everybody's perspective. It really does. But the twist, at the end, is when I was reading the screenplay. I mean, it's just jaw-dropping because you just don't expect it to happen.
Though the crew are very experienced and eager to get this story told, we need your help to help this project come to life. It's actually set in the rural countryside, which sets it apart from the busy city of London.
It requires love, and it requires passion, and it requires a belief in a story and in a profession and in each other, which is and can be quite inspiring.
We would love to get you all involved in the film as well, to get a behind-the-curtain peek at what goes into making a short film like this. So please take a look at the perks and see how you can get involved and help us.
Because so many of these short films have some of the greatest filmmakers of the future. Well, I think probably all of the great filmmakers of the future, of 10 years or 20 years' time, the Oscar-winning directors and producers and cameramen. And if we don't support it somehow financially, then what? It'll just stop. And hopefully there's enough people out there that we can keep this whole genre of short filmmaking alive. Fingers crossed.
We'll be updating our official blog on the progress of the film and how are you allowing it to come to life.
Thank you for listening, and we hope that you become part of the Rite of Rosemary project with us.